everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm super excited to be sharing this amazing book with you. It's called Ideas Over Cafe, and as you will know, I'm a big fan of books and I love anything got to do with personal development, mindfulness or self-care, anything that can help us all on our journey to become better versions of ourselves. So I was so delighted when my friend and fellow YouTuber sent me this book, Ideas Over Cafe, and the name of the author is Zachary A.Watson. He is a YouTuber, like I said. He is a maths teacher, and he is also the author of this book, which he self-published himself. I will of course be putting links below to where you can purchase the book, and links to Zach's channel, which is called Think Share, and I'm a regular over there myself. He puts out daily content with different ideas that are also in this book, and he also likes to try different things himself and share that on his channel. He's also very open for people to comment. He's great at responding. If you have any questions got to do with life or personal development, in any area that he speaks about himself, he's always very helpful, and he loves to have connection through the comments. He enjoys throwing out ideas and getting your feedback on it. So this is how I found Zach. I was just randomly going through YouTube and I fell upon his channel a couple of months ago, and we got speaking through the comments, and later I realized that he had self-published a book. So when I seen that, I was super excited, and I'd asked him, could I please review your book on my channel? I would love to read it, and he very kindly sent me the book. And really, to be totally honest about it, I would have went out and bought it myself, you know, because it's not a very expensive book. Zach has made this very affordable, and for the amazing ideas that are in it, really he could charge a lot more. What I am going to say, this book, I've read it from back to cover, and I can tell you something, that it was worth every minute. But the way he would like people to read this book is to take an idea a day. He's 104 ideas, and he's wrote them very simply, and they're all got to do with how you can develop awareness in your life, improve your life, and stepping out of your comfort zone and taking action, more importantly. So every idea is related some way or another around these subjects, and it's only fair to mention also that Zach has been working on himself for many years. He's stepped out of his comfort zone, and he has accomplished many great things in his life. He has also married an amazing woman, Alyssa, which he always speaks about on his channel, and in this book he's very open, he's very friendly, and what I will say about Zach is what you see is what you get. He's a man of his word, a very good friend, and I truly do hope that that you, my viewers, will really enjoy the ideas on this book, because Zach himself has sent me a clip to attach to this video so that you, my viewers, can get to know him a little bit better. And I'd asked him some questions around the book that I thought would be helpful, and he's very kindly answered them. And to be honest with you, I was so honoured that Zach took the time out to do so, and I really appreciate this book, and I appreciate all the ideas in it. So I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to read an idea, one of my favourite ideas, which is idea 29, and it says but, and then it has a bracket, insert obstacle. So whatever the obstacle is in your life, he wants you to basically think of that while reading this short story, which is about a page and a half. So all the ideas are very short but very precise and to the point. And what I will say, if you're a person that you're not into big books or a heavy reader, this book will be ideal for you, because Zach has compiled all the amazing teachings that he's learned throughout his life and compiled them all into this book, you know. But the most beautiful part of it is that Zach actually shows you how he practiced it himself. So he is very much in every idea here, and I really love that, because it's one thing to write a book giving people ideas, but it's another thing when we practice them ourselves and we show people how it's done. So fair play to you, Zach, and I'm really honoured to be reading one of your ideas here for my viewers. So how often are you dealing with something where you want to do something and you find there is always just one thing in your way of accomplishing it? With practice, I have found that with a simple change in the way you say the sentence, summarizing your difficulties, you can change the mood and the level of creativity present in the moment. I found myself at one time pondering the idea of being a teacher. While I was a software developer, I was not a great software developer and was making 20k more per a year than my college grad peers. I had been at this job for about a year and a half and would catch myself daydreaming during meetings about how to teach high school math creatively and with great enthusiasm. The only thing stopping me was this complaint, which I would repeat with small alterations quite often. I want to be a math teacher, but it doesn't pay enough. Between my parents and most other sensible adults, I was told to stay where the money was. When thinking more about this sentence, that I wanted to be a teacher, but it doesn't pay enough, I realised that in that moment, I did not actually know how much teachers got paid. So I started researching and found to my pleasure that starting salaries were totally livable. I realised that the but did not make as much sense as I thought it did. And so I started playing with the sentence more. It was this idea which, when repeated among many people, became the reality of a whole culture. This single sentence that had been so crippling sent me into inquiry and a new reality which led me to becoming a teacher. Now my life was impacted, yes, by a substantial initial salary cut as well as a great leap in day-to-day happiness and fulfillment. I was now doing what I felt I was born to do. When you spend 16 hours a year on something you love versus something which does not inspire you, your life changes for the better. I now coach all my students when faced with a similar sentence to replace their conjunctions with the one that opens doors rather than closing. My sentences may sound funnier, and I am constrained by far less. I think this is such an amazing idea, and he's basically saying that when you spend time just to become aware of what it is that is stopping you from doing what you really want to do, when all the signs are there, this is what I get from this. And the way he spoke about that he was in a job and he was sitting there at a meeting and he was daydreaming about being a mathematics teacher, and how he could teach math more creatively and more enthusiastically to his students. He was already daydreaming about it, so he's practically, it was really himself, he was telling himself out loud, you are in the wrong place. This is something you need to search, you need to research this, and you need to figure out how you can accomplish this dream. And there you go, he did it. He researched it and he started to figure out that salaries for teachers were not as bad as he thought. So he went against the wind, he went against the family, the friends, and all the people that said to him that the other job would have been better for him, the programming job. And you know what, it really comes down to what makes us happy. And I love the way Zach totally went against everything and went for what he wanted. He not only became a maths teacher, he's now an author also of this book. He got so inspired by stepping out of that comfort zone and breaking through and taking action that he started to even have more breakthroughs in his life, which is all in this book. And all the ideas that he's used are here also. And what I love about Zach was he didn't leave it there. He also went to the stage and he spoke about this to many, many people in TEDx. So I'll also be putting a link below to his talk. It was absolutely amazing. And it really does show that when you put your mind to something and you speak it and you live it, that amazing things can happen. And Zach has really shown me that every person can really do what they've always wanted. And I love as well, when I opened this book, he wrote a message to me, which I will read at the end, but more importantly, his dedication to his students, to his followers, to his viewers, to his friends, to his family, really rang through for me the whole way through this book. He's a real people's person, and even though he is an educator, he wants to spread that out more, and he wants to give more, not just the subject that he's teaching. He wants to share all the amazing ideas that he's learned outside of the education system, and he realizes that there's so much empowerment that can be brought into the classroom. And this is something I talk about regularly on this channel. I always say that I wish that there were schools that were bringing more mindfulness into practice and more personal development. And when I came across Zach's channel and I saw all the amazing things that he was doing, this really showed me what a presence he had. And I'm so honoured, Zach, that you wrote this book, and that, you know, and anyway, he dedicates, and this is the part I really loved as well, dedication. This book is for all the people that have said they want to do or are going to write a book and have not done it yet, or they have said writing a book is their live stream. I hope this inspires you. This is a testament to the ease with which you can create and complete your project with velocity. I would estimate this book under 200. I would estimate this book took under 250 hours. What are you doing for 250 hours this year? That might fulfill you less than writing a book. Also think 10 hours per week for half a year, or 5 hours a week for a whole year. Even down to just breaking down how to find time to write a book, he dedicated to all the people, knowing that the people who will love to read this book will be many people who want to write themselves, you know. And again, he's practicing his awareness, you know, that he's writing this book for all the people that who want to do something that are not doing it. He's again affirming that here just by the dedication. So I love that, Zach. And again as well, you know, with the hours, the 250 hours, you can really see that he is living his dream. His dream was to be a maths teacher, to share knowledge with the world, and writing this book, and he's doing it all. And even with the dedication, he breaks down the hours and how much time it can take to write a book if you really put your mind to it. But with all that said and done, I just want to also say that on the back of the book it says conventional ideas. People are constantly meeting up at their favourite local coffee shop to share stories, opinions, laughs and ideas. This book was inspired by what I constantly found myself sharing with others, whether it was coaching to a friend, advice with a student, or some simple pillow talk with my wife. As I've gotten feedback on these ideas, many people have loved them to the point of consistently asking me to write them down. And then it says flipped. These ideas have helped me flip the conventional wisdom that I've learned over the years and have allowed me to live and lead rather than survive and follow. I absolutely love that. You know, that's really powerful. I invite you to try on some new ideas and possibly break up with your old ways. I promise it will leave you thinking differently, taking new actions and living a new experience. So anyway guys, this book, who would I recommend it for? I would recommend this book for every single person out there who wants to learn new ideas, who likes a story, because Zach has really done this book beautifully. As I say, it's 104 different ideas, and they're all about a page to a page and a half long. So in each idea he gives you a rule, and he helps you to be able to accomplish the idea through his own practice and his own story, which I find so amazing. And as I say, he's also done a TEDx talk, so you can also watch that in the link below, and the name of his own channel is Think Share. And he's very kindly responded to some questions that I've asked him. So he's sent me a clip which I'm adding on here, so that you, my viewers, can get to know Zach and see how amazing he is, and hear him explain to you more about this book, about different ideas, and the questions that I've asked him around this book. He's going to answer them, and I think it's only fair that you get to hear the man himself. So I'm going to pass you over, but before I do, I want to thank Zach for being my friend, for being inspirational to me, and for giving me the pleasure of reading this book. And I hope that you get more followers, and I hope that you sell more books, because more people need to try on these ideas. And For any of my viewers out there, if you're looking for something to start your new year with, I highly recommend that you get out there and get this book. I will put the links below to where you can get it on Amazon, very reasonably priced. And if you want to change yourself for the better this year, then this is the New Year's book you should be buying yourself. It has so many ideas in it, like I said, 104, and you will not be disappointed. So anyway, over to you, Zach, and for all my viewers, I shall talk to you soon. Enjoy these few moments with Zach, and I will for sure be putting links to his channel in the comments below. Big kiss from me, and bye for now.
Hey Melissa, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk on your channel. It's a huge honor for me to be on your channel, as you're one of the other YouTubers that I look up to, and I'm really thankful I've gotten to make a connection with. Thank you for the collaboration with me a couple weeks ago, and thank you for letting me collaborate on your channel. So your first question was, what is my favorite idea in the book? I'm gonna give you two. The two favorite, first one is stop shoulding on yourself. Yes, you heard that right. Stop shoulding on yourself. So many people, one of the things I love about just the chapter of the title is it catches your attention because it sounds like you're talking about pooping on yourself, right? And so often we are constantly bombarding ourselves with negative mental messages. These negative mental messages are so often telling us we can't do things, we should do them a certain way, we shouldn't do them a certain way. And so often what I've found personally in my life is that when I start saying I should or shouldn't do something, that's when I start boxing myself in and things are not, they just don't work as well. All those moments when I start saying I should or shouldn't do something, that's when real problems start occurring. I stopped feeling free. One of my students recently said, I wish I could just go home right now. I said, why don't you? And he said, well, like I have practice after school. I said, well, there's nothing actually stopping you besides yourself from going home. But you're saying to yourself, I should be going to practice. And you've shifted it from an opportunity, an option, a choice, over to something that you have to do. And the moment that you change things to a have to instead of a sure I could be, that's when you lose your power, that's when you lose your freedom. So if we acknowledge the fact that pretty much the only thing we have to do in life is die, that's about it. As long as we can acknowledge that's the only thing we should be doing at some point in time, then we're good. Otherwise, just stop shitting on yourself. Secondly, my favorite part of the book is probably this idea I got for my birthday. So I'm not going to dive into the backstory of it, but one of the favorite things that I've come to do once a year is I try to use my birthday as an opportunity to create, if you've ever seen the movie Pay It Forward, came out in the early 2000s. Pay It Forward is a movie about a young boy that comes up with this idea that instead of paying it back, because everyone's always trying to pay it back, instead he wanted to pay it forward. So he said, I want to do 3 really huge things for people that they can't help themselves with. And so from there, the rule is if you pay it to them, you have to say you can't pay it back, you have to pay it forward. And so then they have to find 3 people, and exponentially, we know it's just exponential growth, right? 3 to the 1 power is 3, 3 to the 2 power is 9, 3 to the 3 power is 27, 81, 243, etc. So we can see that that can add up really quickly if people actually pay it forward. So in the movie, he talks about doing life-changing things. For me, all I wanted to do was change the way I did my birthday wish. So I said, you know what, I think it's BS that when we blow out our candles that we're not supposed to say what our wish is. Instead, I think we should say it out loud every time we get the opportunity, because then it can actually happen. So I did a short little live stream during my birthday this year of what my birthday wish is. And every year since 2013, it's been the same, which is I want everyone in my presence when I'm blowing out birthday candles to get on the phone, call up someone that they love and tell them I love you. That's it. If they want, they can sort of pass it forward, but all the time I feel like our birthdays are so egocentric and we get all these gifts and it's great, it's wonderful, and the eyes are on us, and I wanted to take that opportunity of all that attention and give it away to the people that probably deserve it, that don't hear it enough. And the original kind of idea behind that was I was getting all these Facebook notifications on my birthday when I was like 23. I think I got over 100, and I was just like, oh, it's like a social media frenzy. Like, what do I do with this? And I thought, wouldn't it be really cool if everyone went out and said, hey, I love you, to your brother, your sister, your mom, your whoever, and then commented back on my page saying who that person was. And when they did that, I would get a giant list of all the people that I'd spread the love to that day. So that's one of my other favorite ideas, is having that be my birthday wish every year. Whether I get presents or not, I don't care. I'm hoping next year when I have more subscribers that it's going to be even bigger. I think the most I've had so far is about 50 people giving me names of people that they called. The biggest birthday I've had, like physical people, is about 40 people, and almost all of them called people. That's one of my other favorite ideas that I plan to do for the rest of my life. And I have this movie idea that I developed this concept, and then throughout the movie you see how it moves through a population, and eventually I go to sleep and I wake up with a voicemail from someone saying, hey Zach, I love you, and it turns out it originally came from me, so it got full circle, but it made its way around the world. Your second question is, why did I write the book? I was listening to the book, The Monk That Sold His Ferrari, and he was saying it's a lawyer that has a near-life crisis, goes and becomes a monk, comes back and tells one of his old colleagues of all his wisdom. What he says is he just spends like a whole night like talking with them. What the monks that taught him how to be a monk said is he had to go share the knowledge. He wasn't allowed to just hold on to all this serenity and wonderful way of being. He had to go share it. I thought to myself, in the past couple of years, I had done the Landmark Forum, I've done other leadership programs, I've read a ton of books. After listening to that little part right there, I said, you know, I really should share this with people more. And so I was going to my graduate class for a master's degree in teaching for mathematics. I ended up just writing for about an hour and a half of the 3-hour lecture all the ideas that I wanted to put in a book that I wanted to share with people. It started out that way as just a bunch of ideas I wanted to share with people, and the ideas sort of evolved, so I got stuck on it for about a year and a half because I was trying to categorize the items and they didn't fit very well together because they're all kind of random. And at some point I read my cousin's book while I was writing, by Robbie Theron Badger, at The Green Soul on Instagram. He does daily poetry, has like 24,000 followers on Instagram. It's pretty cool. But in the introduction of his book, it said it's a poetry book. He said, this book has no structure as a creative mind has no structure. And that idea totally freed me up. What I was able to do with that was realize I don't need to have structure. I can just have a bunch of random ideas, like little thought-provoking, something you can chew on and be inspired by. And you could read one a day, throw it in the bathroom and read one on the toilet. At one point I realized, you know what I'd really love to see is someone read one chapter and talk about it with a friend. And that's what I talk about on the back here, is I want to throw this on coffee tables, see people read a chapter and then talk about it with a friend. I feel like we're so bored of all these crappy conversations with people, and I hope that bringing up these kind of topics that we all go through as humans but we don't necessarily discuss with other people, you know, I just hope that we can start to evolve as a humanity and start to have more of those conversations, because I started having those in about 2013 after doing the Landmark Forum, and you know, I just haven't turned back since. I try not to have stupid conversations about stuff I don't care about. I try to have meaningful conversations about things I do care about and take action in the world. That book sort of took on a life of its own. It's just 104 ideas I love sharing about with people. They're mostly ideas I did not get in middle school, high school, or college. They're things I got from reading books, listening to podcasts, lectures, Audible books, taking leadership courses, taking real estate courses, and just learning a bunch on YouTube. Huge compilation of a bunch of stuff. They don't all stack on top of each other. There's no prerequisites. You can dabble wherever you want. I recommend it for anyone that has boring conversations that wants to lab them up just by having a topic starter on their coffee table. Hope that answers your question for question 2. Third question, you said, will I write another book? As my whole kind of, I don't know what to call it, it's not a profession yet, but as my authorship has sort of changed over into YouTube videos, I realized last year as a teacher that so many of my students are all on YouTube. They love their YouTubers. I made a couple videos and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make a couple videos, but you know, just talk about the book. You know, it started out as sort of a marketing plan to sell it, and it sort of took on a life of its own. I just really enjoyed making videos very similar to that. Now it's, let's see, it's been since June that I started the ThinkShare channel, which is a little bit separate from my other original channel where I just kind of did everything. I did origami tutorials, math tutorials, random funny things with my students. One of my students gave me a haircut for Thanksgiving. ThinkShare I now have about 200 videos on, and I think what I'm going to do next, so what I want to do really is I want to build a high school course that frees me up the way that I've been freed up in the past couple of years, teaching mindfulness, teaching leadership, sort of like life hacking skills, goal setting skills, interpersonal skills, communication skills, all these things. I want to put that into a course. One way that a lot of teachers, when they're looking to teach a course, is they look for a textbook. I think I'm gonna write the textbook for that. So, I mean, it'll probably turn into a paperback or something. What I want to do is I want to put together a set of materials that is pretty much the course. I came to my last interview with the syllabus for this course. I would really love to teach it, and so I think what I might do for our next book is just write what I want to accomplish in it and have this be the textbook, so I can literally buy 20 or 30 copies when I get to teach the class eventually, and then I will be able to use that as the textbook. I've thought about a bunch of other ideas. I think, you know, since I've done the ThinkShare, maybe we'll write a ThinkShare book, similar to like the Ask Gary V book, where it's just a giant compilation of all the videos and all the information that he's put out on the Ask Gary V show. So I might take all of my favorite things from the ThinkShare and throw it into a book. But that's what I'm thinking about writing. If anyone is interested in getting coaching from me for writing a book, I've done it for free. I've worked with my dad. He's still in the works of it, and I've worked with one of the other people I did a TED Talk with, and she finished her poetry book in about 6 months. She didn't think she could do it in 6 months, but it's been pretty cool. I did an interview with her in the summer. If you're interested in getting coaching on how to write a book, how to self-publish, I used createspace.com to self-publish it. There's no publisher on the spine. It's just me, and I did it on CreateSpace. My wife created the logo and the back cover. It's pretty much free to do. CreateSpace and Amazon take a cut every time you sell a book, so for the most part it's free. They print them and you sell them, and you get a cut and they get a cut. So I would love to work with more people. I'd love to be an author's coach because I feel like I've delivered some results, and I'd love to create some more. So thank you again, Melissa, for inviting me onto your channel and allowing me to answer these questions. It's been a blast. I always love the fact that you talk so much about mindfulness. I think it's one of the most under-taught skills probably right now in the world, at least in America. I feel like so many people get stressed out about such little things, and when we're able to be more mindful of them and able to recognize our emotions and our thoughts that don't have to regulate the way we feel in a moment, that's freedom right there. Thank you for contributing to the world and to all your viewers and subscribers. I think you do a great job. Thank you again for inviting me on. As I say at the end of all my videos, if you liked what you saw, I invite you to subscribe. If you want to receive notifications when I come up with videos every day, hit the bell. Thank you for watching, and stay weird.